Just as I thought I was finally getting lucky in this game, this just happened and I had no idea how to solve this problem. I have played for another 5 to 10 hours and I am excited to tell you the story of my ever-changing fortune in Fantasy Life 5, The Girl Who Steals Time. So let's jump back to how things started. Picking up where we left off in the last video, we arrived in Ginormosia. I immediately started to explore new things in this area, but of course they had to interrupt me, just the usual. I got the loot, so I forgave the lizards for now, but just to be clear, I am planning my revenge. After taking care of these things, I kept going and look at that, I found a hidden chest. This seems rare. Moving on, I decided to try fishing on the beach. A new area has some unique new fish, right? It's okay, I will give it another shot. Yes, a perfect pool and never mind. At least I found a cute grasshopper. I mean a demonic hopper, okay. I also found this blue plant in the ground and it actually turns out that this is a leafy. They are these cute creatures in the game that you can collect and then they will give you rewards. And look, they leave a bandage on the ground, it's so cute. It seemed like a perfect day to get back to Haniwa mining. But as I stepped on this sand, I started burning. I was like, okay, one more try can't hurt, but it almost killed me. So we had to find a solution for that. But before I continued on with the main story, I climbed up on a mountain and I'm glad I did, because I found my first ever legendary. I will have to do legendary challenges to gather resources, but these challenges need at least area level 3 to occur, so I will have to grind some area points before I could make my first ever legendary weapon. With this, my exploration came to a halt, so it was the perfect time to continue our journey in the main story. I spoke with this giant eye who told us that our dragon was located somewhere behind the shiny poop? Although I had no idea what that meant, I immediately set off to find him, until this happened. Yeah, I just found the mimic. He told us some interesting things about this place, but it really seems like endgame content, so I guess we will check it out later. The game didn't let me explore anymore, so I had to go ahead and solve the burning problem. And for that reason, I had to get rid of this Haniwa. Luckily, I wasn't alone, I had a helping hand. Unfortunately, he wasn't a permanent companion, but for once I could at least enjoy the illusion of having friends. We gave our loot to the Don, who was so happy that he gifted this camel to us. Yes, you got it right, it is our first mount. And with it we managed to get through the burning desert. While riding my camel, I found some dropped belongings, and then a dropped underwear, and then a shiny poop. It was just too much. Somebody was shouting from the shiny poop, so we had to get in and save her. We killed the big wolves and then we found out that it was a dresser who was shouting. Apparently there are so-called strangelings in this world who were once human but got turned into furniture and such. As the heroes of the story, it is our duty to turn them back to their original form, although at this point we didn't really know how we would manage that. But I'm sure that we will find a way. Until then, I continued my journey to Skelegon. I found this little dock on the way and saw that I have the chance to finally fish out something new. I thought it would be quick, but I was horribly wrong. I accidentally dashed into the water and I couldn't get out. No matter what I tried, swimming, jumping, teleporting, nothing worked. I had to reload my last save. And now comes the question, was all this trouble worth it? All of this was for a sardine. I don't know what I expected. And now comes the best part. I jumped in by accident again. And when I tried to teleport out, the game just said, not now. Thanks, I guess. I reloaded my save again, and fortunately, it was a happy ending. And by the way, if you enjoyed the video so far, please consider subscribing. Thank you! Wandering around, I found a new strangeling, a witch's broom. So we have a carpenter and a mage in the group so far. Very nice. And look, there was also a suspiciously looking leaf in our way. As a reward, I got this cactus chair, which I will definitely put out in my garden if I will finally have one. On my way, I found this pond, so one last time I tried fishing again. And finally, a cactus fish! I think I completed my life goal. Talking about goals, we finally found Skelegon, along with a key that lets us travel between worlds and also through time. We went through a portal only to be met by a rather unkind lady, as usual. If you have seen the first episode, she is the same person who we met there. And to no surprise, Edward ended up separated from us again. To break this boulder, we needed the help of a legendary miner, Douglas. Nice pun as always. But before we could start the search for him, we found a way to turn Strangeling back into humans. And we got our first companion, Kunugi. Our crew members returned and will be the leaders of our guild house, while Kunugi blessed us with this wonderful tiny home. So we finally got our own land with our own house. I got right into decorating it, but my choices were limited. I only got a workbench and a pair of yarn balls, so nothing fancy so far. However, there was no time to linger because Edward was in need of our help. So I traveled back in time to find Douglas. On my way, I bumped into Cornella, so I had to kill her, of course. And to my surprise, she dropped a chest. And inside there was actually a strangeling. That means we also have a tailor in our guild now. It's nice that our member count keeps growing day by day. In the first episode, I tried to fish out the plains lordfish, but I was only level 10 fishing, so I couldn't get it out. I waited until I became level 12 in fishing, so I was the same level as the fish itself. But to my surprise, I failed again. But I will keep trying, so I will be back a few levels later. After our journey through this land, we finally found Douglas, only to discover he was also turned into a strangeling. How unfortunate. To make matters worse, it turns out that Steam did not record the time when I was playing co-op with my boyfriend, so 2 hours of footage is lost in time. We explored more areas of Ginormosia, and I also worked on my base a little bit. I gathered 1 or 2 more strangelings and also a few pieces of furniture. It is not really stylish so far, but I will get to the nitty-gritty of decorating once I unlock more items. Alright, I almost forgot. Edward needs our help. We got back just in time with Douglas turned back to human, and he kindly helped to get him out. Although Edward did not really seem like someone who needs help. Unfortunately, he couldn't enjoy freedom for too long, as a few minutes later, he was trapped again. Now it was not a boulder, but an actual turnip that trapped him. I think that we can say for sure that this means that we can finally unlock the farmer life. Or maybe it's called the gardener life? Anyway. On the bright side of Edward being in trouble again, we brought back a robot to our home. Let me introduce you to Hagram. He changed our life for the better, as he's a huge help in decorating and terraforming our island. I just can't express how glad I am that they included this in the game. It's a pain in the bum when you have to terraform everything with a tiny shovel. By the way, I unlocked a few different kinds of furniture, and I tried to make one of them. So let me present to you my new corn fireplace thingy. To be honest, I am waiting for some forest, cottage, or pastel themed items, but I can see the vision of making a corn themed tiny place too. I was so ready to try out the new life in this game, but I think that this is the perfect time to end our episode here today. Please consider subscribing if you enjoyed today's video. Next week I will be back with some easy content, but if you would love to see me play some more Fantasy Life, please let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Bye bye!